Hey, so it is April 12th, VEDA Day 12, and today I am thinking about diversity. It's weird how this is such a topic that needs to be brought up in conversations and brought up in discussions. Like there needs to be a box for diversity because unless we create a box to check that says diversity, there won't be any. Like, it's weird that you have to bring up diversity as an issue for people to consider it. Like, it's not naturally a part of what people will just look for because diversity is interesting and people could value having a range of backgrounds and a range of subjects or be thinking consciously that there are experiences other than their own that might be valuable to tap into for the sake of that experience and not for the sake of checking off a box or appealing to a certain demographic. Interesting having to witness these conversations as the person who is often that check mark in the diversity box. Hey, hi, I'm the diversity. I'm the one, and it sucks to be the one. Because if you are the one person of color and you are the diversity, then you don't get to benefit from the diversity. Because for you, you're in a room full of white people. It's also interesting how if you have a panel that is full of white people, no one pays it any mind. Like no one's really gonna say anything about it. People treat whiteness as the default and not as a race in and of itself. Like people act like whiteness is so accessible, and if I'm creating a main character, I'm by default thinking of them as white and thinking that they'll be really relatable and accessible to a wide variety of people. And I think that some people in Hollywood are starting to wake up to the fact that for minorities, a lot of them are thinking in terms of saying whiteness is not relatable to my experience, and I'm not going to bend my experience to be able to access your experience through the lens of your whiteness. I don't want to always have to meet you where you are, standing in your culture, doing things your way and looking at the world through your lens. Like that's not something that's particularly enjoyable or accessible for me. If your network has all white hosts on your television series or on your web shows, I see that as a very purposeful decision. Whereas the managers of that network might notice it later once the issue of diversity has brought up, once we bring up diversity as an issue and say to themselves, oh wait, we don't have any diverse hosts. Whereas the rest of us, diverse people, notice that right off the bat when we first look at it. The same way that you would notice if a network had all black hosts. And it's not even a variety of people within that race. Usually it's white people who look a certain way. How would you perceive a channel that had all black hosts who are all kind of mid-toned in complexion and had loose curls? How would you perceive that? You would be thinking about it, and you would be saying something about it. You would think to yourself, oh, is this a black channel, or is this a black station, or is this BET? It would stand out to you in your mind. In that same way, when I see a lineup of all white people, I think to myself, oh, this is a white channel, this is a white network. They're going for that angle since they are purposefully not including anyone who looks different from that cookie cutter model of whiteness. I think that's just as much of a purposeful decision. I think people should recognize that they lean towards that and not have it come up as an afterthought when down the line someone brings it up that, oh, we need this such and such diversity initiative to come through and approve us, or to even think about it in a preventative measure of, well, we need someone for when the diversity people come through and they see that we don't have what we should. It would be nice if there was a realization throughout the process and an awareness throughout the process that unless you're trying to specify otherwise, it's always helpful to have a range of perspectives and a range of personalities and experiences as you're looking for representation, or as you're looking for who's going to be a spokesperson, who can get the job done, who can enrich your life or your product or your service. There are a bunch of different types of people who can enrich it. If you're only going for one, whether it's white or whether it's any other race, there should be a reason for it. Maybe it's a local thing and there's a certain race that dominates in that locality, in which case I'm thinking, wow, this must be something for Latino viewers, and yeah, it actually is. But it's like your decisions are motivated. They're motivated by your own racial biases. If you're actively working against, racial biases among a whole host of other biases that we're all socialized with, then, you can be saying to yourself, not to get any sort of brownie points, but just to keep an open mind and to keep an open product or service, that you should be employing and promoting and hiring a diverse range of people. Diverse in terms of race, gender, sexuality, religion, ability, all of these range of things. It's good to incorporate when you can. It's interesting. Since I work in television, which it's so funny to think that about myself, but I do. It's weird. It's definitely something that comes up as diversity. And on top of that, that people are trying to be so PC about it, which being PC in and of itself drives me crazy when it comes to talking about race, just talking about it. And I don't mean whether you're respectful or not, you should definitely be respectful. But if you mean black, say black. Unless you're talking specifically about African Americans, just say black. If there's no reason to say African American, unless we're talking about historical terms, unless you're tracing my ancestors. Did you actually ask that person whether they're a descendant of slaves? I don't think you did, so they're black. Seeing these issues danced around and seeing these issues brought up as an afterthought or brought up as an agenda item. On one hand, I know it's necessary because we have so far to go. We've been excluding people so harshly and treating people so badly for so many years, but it's also frustrating that it has to come up in that way and that you often do feel like a token. And I think that tokenism in a way hurts the cause of people of color, because it says that in and of itself is where the value lies. You're only valuable here because you're checking off that box, which is what I feel fuels a lot of the anti-affirmative action sentiments, is that idea that, oh, you're only hired or you're only here to check off that box. You're not here because you are worthy of being here and you are just as qualified as anybody else. Because you bring it up as an agenda item. You don't bring it up just as something that you're thinking about, as something that you're opening your mind to and keeping your mind open towards, even when it has a natural tendency to close itself off. Those are my jumbled VEDA thoughts. It'd be cool to do a proper scripted planned out video about this. But VEDA is for spontaneity and getting things off your chest and thinking off the top of your head, and that's what this video has been. VEDA Day 12. I would like to get back into editing these on or right after the day that I filmed them. And your girl has been struggling, obviously. I will, fingers crossed, see you tomorrow. Bye.